I've got a tough question.
Yeah.
And it's a little like, I could answer this myself a few different ways, but what about you've got a female founder who starts a business, does all the things, build it up, it's their thing, they bring in investors, and they get ousted. Should the consumer care?
That's a good question because it's come up recently with Miyoko's cheese, right? And Miyoko, a lot of followers. It started when I started, I know, because she's about my age. And I remember her restaurants, and she had Seitan and sat in the Bay Area. I mean, she's been working it, and was doing this great cheese thing. And the cheese got so big. And so all of a sudden, I don't know, what if they got over 50 million in ventures, I don't know who they are, but yeah, she gets the oust. And you see the public comments, and it's like, people are like, how could you do that? Because what she stands for. And then they start changing little things, and you watch their new marketing, like, look at everybody that works here, right? And I went through that a couple times, right? You go out and like everybody's still working because they need a job too, Like that first thing I did with after Empty Plate before Native Foods, like, gee, you're just sitting out there. I picked up the paper. I got the phone call. I said, okay, I'll subscribe to the paper. I don't know what to do. So you're left and everybody's working there. So what I see Miyoko's did, they took all the people working there and they made them so shiny but the comments were just horrible. Like, how could you do that to Miyoko? It's a good question. Do you not buy this vegan product because, there's something unethical going on there? Do you stand behind the person or the product? It's a tough call, and everyone's going to be different about that. It's kind of like, do you not go to McDonald's and get the bean burger, or the veggie burger because it's McDonald's and they're totally devastating things. Some people will never. It's getting harder for me to go to restaurants that serve meat too, even though they have that option I wish to support. That's an individual question. People are going to feel very different. And I think you'll feel different if you go through it yourself, Like, I certainly have some respect for Miyoko. And I guess the question I would ask, like in Miyoko's case, is, are you getting money from, are you still being profitable? Are you getting something from this that's going to help you with whatever it is in your life? Are you owing them money? Are you making money still? Like, there's some way when I buy this product is supporting you too. And I think that's where I am right now with something like that. If I can support it so it is also helping them, if they're it's a great topic. Am I really helping anything then? I don't know. Am I? I don't know. What do you think? Am I helping? So there's this great vegan product out there and I don't buy it. What's going to happen?
I don't know how I would answer that myself. Cause like that idea of like, we don't know what happened. We don't know both sides. Like, like the whole thing, how like kind of 2016-ish is like, boom, this huge explosion. Everything's vegan. There's all these restaurants opening up. There's all these businesses. I'm stoked. Like, yeah, I'm here for it. But then, things start falling apart and partners leave and people get ousted, businesses go out of business. And I kind of feel like we're in this place of like vegan businesses and kind of like vegan stuff, plant-based stuff, whatever people want to call it, where it's like, it all seems kind of fuzzy. Like, do I want to support this company that I used to support, but now it's owned by this big conglomerate that also sells like hot dogs, like normal hot dogs.
Yeah.
And it's gotten real hazy. And where I personally try and stick with things as best as I can is I've gone back from being like, oh, I'm super stoked. There's like big chain restaurants. I've kind of gone backwards where I've been like, now, I kind of want to go back to things where I know, like I have a sense of there's a person behind this that owns this, that's of the culture, that's of the ideas, and that products that are out there, and there's no commentary on anyone. I just kind of want to feel like the person who founded it is still in the mix somehow.
Yeah.
Even if they're just on the sides there, but they're like, hell yeah, like I'm into it. And some things are just delicious and I still want. So I'm not saying I would never, no judgment on other people, but I just feel like I'm not just into this. Oh, I'm not a vegan because of health. Like I never got into it for health. I got into it because Youth of Today, and Earth Crisis, and instead challenged me and made me look more into it. And then I got deeper into it because of people like you and because of all of these people that were like, oh, this is about animals, but you actually can also be totally healthy as you do this, and it can be delicious and it can be awesome. And I was like, if that for me is that ethical core of being challenged by these punk bands and then learning from people like you and business leaders like you, I'm just drawn again now to that there's so many options, which is awesome. I love it. But if there's so many options, then it's very easy for me to pick the options where I'm like, that founder's still there.
Yeah.
You know?
You said because it's about the animals and it's about, and then health comes out of it, But really, before it's about the animals, it's about, not before, but along with that thought, it's compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And compassion has to be part of the business model. And that is the missing, that's not on a bottom line, or it's not on the spreadsheets, it's not on the P&Ls. Compassion, where does that fit? Well, it fits in how you treat your workers. It fits in a lot of things. So if compassion is part of that equation, which, with more things out there, we are going to have more choices on what is compassionate. It builds compassion, of course, is for other living beings. And of course, that's the animals. And then the people, how are they being treated? And I like that idea. Maybe that will pose the big guys to not treat anybody like a cardboard box that would oust someone, to keep a founder, and financially well, because it means something to people. It means compassion. It means something, and that would be really cool. So if we could have it that way, I'd vote for that one.
I would vote for that one.
Compassion is the goal. I did coin a term once that I wanted to use, and I thought, there's the 1% now that you could say 1% for the planet. You could be one of those corporations, or a B Corp, right? You can be B Corp. But I was like the CCC, Compassionate Community Corporation. So you're doing stuff with compassion for the community and incorporation. Anyway, let's start to do that.
Well, and
who's a CCC? Yeah.
But I think that's practical and real. Like again, when I go back to Chris Callahan saying, he was like, oh, it's just an oligarchy. And when he said it to me, we were having this interview with someone who wasn't vegan. It was someone who was like part of the marijuana industry, like that, how that exploded.
Yeah.
And we were talking about these two things that were exploding.
Yeah.
But when Callahan was talking about it, he was like, the oligarchy. And he got this like 1,000-yard stare. I was like, damn. But he's not wrong, right?
No, right.
And it really, I just feel like once it was a proven business model, it's like, wow, all these people rush in. Kind of like when you're saying the venture capitalists, they rush in.
Well, that's what's going on now, and they can toss them aside, move it on. Yeah.
Well, okay. Let them do their reaping.
Yeah.
Let them do their thing. But then it's like, once it settles down, it's not that big boom, which is, I think, kind of what's been happening, as brands are going away, businesses are going away.
Closing
It's
units.
still a proven business model, but with like people who are like, oh, I'll invest. And maybe it's not these big venture capitalists. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it should just be people who have done well, who are good business people, or who are guided by good business people, helping people create these CCC corporations. Like, I think it's a possible thing if we just keep learning from the stuff that's been happening as veganism has become like a viable business.